Welcome everybody to another Delboy video. I was umming and ahhing about this one for a little while because some of the gameplay videos that I've been showing recently have been more remakes or new games that look very much like an oldish type game that you would have played back in the 80s. But this one is slightly different because it's an actual emulator, and it's an emulator that's been around for some time. Now, this particular emulator is called 3D Sen, and it comes in two versions. It comes in a standard desktop form, and it comes in a VR form. But both of them do two things. You can play all your NES ROMs in the emulator just like any other emulator that's out there, and it does it quite well and quite fast. Or certain games, of which there are over 80, can have a pseudo 3D effect that you can rotate round while you're playing the game. And that was very interesting to me when I first heard about this several years ago. So when you load up the emulator, you get this interface. First of all, you'll get a plane of different games that you can load up. The first square is always playing the emulator in 2D mode. And it's very, very simple in the fact that you select the 2D and right click on it, and it will bring up an interface for you to choose where your ROMs are, and you can then load them up. And when you click open, that will start the emulator off in 2D. But if you want to load games up with a slight 3D effect, there are only so many that have actually got a profile that allows you to do that. You can either scroll this along or you can click the numbers at the bottom, but you can load up certain games and you load them up in the same way, take a picture, and then basically you can play the game. But just like any emulator, you'll probably start everything off by going to settings. And settings can always look a bit complex. This one is not too bad. I got around it quite easily. The top section is basically the interface. The middle section is how you're going to play your games. And the bottom section is a little bit of a how-to. So really you could change the volume and have things with shadows, etc. from here. Skybox isn't anything other than the fact that all the games on an NES are not 16:9 or widescreen, so you get a border at the left and bottom. So you can actually have a gradient background or a fantasy background, so that the sides, when you're playing the games, have a sort of an effect of how you want it. Or you could turn black into a image. I tend to keep it at default. If something is not going to have a background, then I want it to be black, so I keep it at that. You can alter the speed of the emulator. I tend to keep that at standard. The rendering rate really is just the frequency of your monitor. I've got a 240 frames per second type monitor, but it'll only allow up to 120. And then there's the different type of renderers. I keep it on direct because it's the easiest, and then of course you can choose whether it's PAL or NTSC if you're going to be showing this on a screen. So we'll go back to the game, and basically we'll just choose something simple for now. We'll try Gallagher, and we'll try it with a 3D effect. So you just double click on it and it takes you straight into the emulator. Now this is where you can change it around and make it 3D. So you can see I can rotate it around, and I can make it larger and I can make it smaller. And it's quite interesting because you can make things look like they're taller than they're supposed to be. Notice that I put a slight tilt on there. We're going to try playing it at that particular angle. So we'll press the start and see whether I'm okay at this angle. Here we go. Gallagher's a classic anyway. So you can see that the sprites have all been turned 3D. And I've actually altered the screen so it's 3D. And like I say, I can do it on the fly like this. And it's still 3D even if I have it straight on. But we'll try and put it back to the way it was when I started. Oh, there we go. That's me trying to move the screen while I was trying to play the game. There we go. And that's pretty much just to show you Gallagher very simply. And obviously what you have to consider here is this is going to look slightly different for every single game. So we'll try and put something equally simple like PacMan and see how that looks. And I put these on because I think most people know what PacMan looks like. So we'll put another interesting effect on. We'll tilt it around. See whether that works. There we go, using the dots. Don't know how many PacMan enthusiasts are out there. I've never been fantastic at PacMan, but I've always considered it a classic and one that everybody must play at some point. As you can see, my skills are not that adept. Oh. Move around the maze. I'm having to use a D-pad on a slightly broken controller, so I'm tending to find that I'm going past walls and not turning very well. I'm sure you will have much better controllers than I have. But let's see if I can still get this done. There we go. Up, slightly around, down, go all the way down. And I did the first maze and I didn't die, so I'm quite happy with that. But obviously there are more complex games and they are going to look totally different to that. So let's put on something that's more complex, like Zelda. So again, like I say, you can turn it around and you can see the plane all around. It actually is a very interesting effect. We'll start it off. Oh, I keep forgetting that you have to actually create a character, so we probably won't choose that one then. What we'll try is we'll try Castlevania. That's another one that a lot of people like. So just turning it around and you can see the planes as are on. We'll turn it around, you can see that you can turn it all the way around. We'll have it at a slight angle again. Let's see if we can play it at this angle. And like I say, you don't have to play it in 3D. You can actually play all of these games in the native 2D that it's always been in. And that's the thing that I like about this emulator, because it's trying to do something different, but it's not reinventing the wheel. Wow, I've just noticed those curtains, they go in and out. Wow, that's really quite clever. And this emulator is still in development. The program is continuing to write profiles, and if you buy it on Steam, there is a Steam community where they are also turning ROMs into 3D all the time. If you do get it on Steam, I believe you get the profile maker, which is great. Oh, fell through there. Like I say, you can watch it from any angle. Really quite nice. Anyway, this is just a little brief demonstration of an emulator that I'm quite impressed with. I'd like to see it develop a little bit more, but if you are interested, I believe you can. It's free to actually download from the 3DZ website. If you want to purchase it, it is in the sale at the moment on Steam, £3.50, I believe, and as I said, it's in constant development, and it does give you the tools within the emulator to go to the website so you can write your own profiles if there was a particular game that's not included in the emulator itself. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has perked your interest into something that I consider to be quite exciting. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.